Story 1. My 33F BF 30M is in love with his best female friend. How do I break up with him when I am 9 months pregnant? I've been with my boyfriend, 30M, for 7 years, and I'm currently 9 months pregnant with our child. Lately, I've been feeling like our relationship is no longer working, primarily because I believe he has deep feelings for his best female friend. Their friendship started when he moved across the country to be with me and met her at his new job. While I don't have an issue with her as a person, I'm uncomfortable with how much effort he puts into their relationship compared to ours. We've been through a lot together, but I feel like we've drifted apart. He's never been open about his feelings for her, but I've noticed things like constant texting and giving her a Valentine's gift, even though he's never acknowledged Valentine's Day with me. These gestures feel too personal for a friendship, and it's left me feeling disconnected. I even snooped through his phone and saw that he sent her flowers when she was sick, something he's never done for me. In fact, he basically ignores me when I'm sick. I'll give him some credit, though, as he did send me roses for my birthday a couple of weeks before Valentine's Day. I tried talking to him about how his actions are making me feel, but he doesn't seem to understand. I only met her for the first time last month, and it was only because I'm pregnant, and he thought it was time for me to stop thinking of her as the big bad wolf. Even after meeting her and observing their dynamic, I don't think anything has happened between them, but if she were ever to show interest, I truly believe he'd jump at the chance. There have been other red flags too, like him staying at her house after drinking without telling me he wasn't coming home and sending her elaborate gifts under the excuse that he was helping her with her own relationship issues. I've stayed in this relationship because of various life challenges and the fact that we live together, but I'm honestly at a point where I no longer feel emotionally invested. I'm exhausted from feeling like I'm second place to someone else, especially with a baby on the way. I know I want to break up, but I'm torn between doing it before or after the baby arrives. I feel confident that we could co-parent well, but I'm not sure if it would be better to wait until after the birth to avoid extra stress, or if it's better to end things now. How do I go about breaking up with him while being 9 months pregnant? Comment 1. Having had kids myself and leaving their dad when I was 9 months pregnant with my last, I'd recommend doing it before the baby comes. It will be stressful, but I can guarantee that once the baby is born, it will seem almost impossible. If this is what you really want, get to wherever you're going to be and get settled, because doing anything like this with a baby in tow will be substantially more physically, emotionally, physiologically, etc. more difficult, especially considering this is your first. Comment 2. At first I had assumed you meant a lifelong female best friend. Not when he recently only met. He's putting more effort into another woman. Despite how you feel about it, he's continued his relationship with her. Sounds like an emotional affair, and if it hasn't turned physical, it's only a matter of time. I think it would be better to leave before the baby. It will be much harder to do so after the baby comes. Comment 3. Just hand him a sock and tell him he's a free elf now. Story 2. I, 23F, was being honest with my 31M boyfriend about something from my past, and now he's disgusted by me. Was this messed up to share? Hi everyone. I really need some outside perspective because I'm feeling a little hurt and confused. My boyfriend and I have been together almost a year and are quite obsessed with each other. It has been really amazing, honestly. But I need help with this. Yesterday, my boyfriend and I were hanging out and got into a conversation about a girl who had DM'd him on Instagram a little bit ago asking for personal training. He said she ended up ghosting him, but while they were talking, she started getting flirty and veering off from the topic of training. He admitted he got the feeling she wasn't serious and got ghosted because he wasn't entertaining any conversation besides about working out, but said he would have trained her anyway. He said he would have shut down any clear flirtation attempt if he actually did train her. That made me uncomfortable, and I told him so. For context, he's crossed boundaries before for money, which has made me extra sensitive to anything involving unclear boundaries or transactional behavior. I brought up that old situation during the conversation, not to fight, but to explain why this current situation made me so uneasy. He was being understanding and reassuring, and was trying to make me happy. Not that I wasn't particularly unhappy. We weren't fighting. It was just a vulnerable talk. Then he mentioned that since we've been dating, Men have DM'd him offering money for explicit pictures, which he's turned down. I know this sounds kind of insane, but he lived in LA for a long time and lived the typical lifestyle out there, which I know and have accepted. He also told me that a few years ago when he lived in LA, he and a roommate used to sell naked pictures to men online and even did a live stream together. I was surprised and admittedly a bit grossed out, but I didn't judge him or say anything rude. I felt that I could be open to, so I shared that I had also sold explicit photos of myself in the past. I was honestly nervous to say this, but I felt like if he could tell me his past without judgment, then I should be able to do the same. When I told him, he got extremely upset and said he was grossed out and turned off. I told him, "You just shared you sold naked content of yourself to men, and then I tell you I did the same, and you're upset with me?" He feels it's different because he's not gay and it was to men, but if he sold them to women, it would be different, and I sold mine to guys, which makes it different. I told him it doesn't matter to me what gender you sold them to. He almost walked out on me while we were hanging out. He didn't, but then the convo didn't feel salvageable, so I went home. Now he feels weird, not happy, not excited, and wants to be alone. I don't think I shared this to hurt him. I was being honest, and maybe, yeah, a part of me wanted to see if he'd treat my past the same way I was treating his. But now I feel terrible and pretty bad. He said our convo ruined the day, and that I made him feel defensive and ashamed. I'm torn because I feel like there's a double standard here. I've accepted things from his past, like crazy things that made me uncomfortable, but when I shared something similar, he judged me and pulled away. Was I too blunt? Was I trying to provoke a reaction without realizing it? Or is he being unfair for reacting this way? Would love any perspective. Comment 1. He's dating you because you're young and naive and more likely to tolerate his bullshit. I'm sorry, but he ain't the one. Comment 2. There's a total double standard here. My advice? Don't stick with the guy with an inability to create boundaries. This guy ain't it. Comment 3. I know this sounds kind of insane, but he lived in LA for a long time and lived the typical lifestyle out there, which I know and have accepted. I've lived in LA for close to 20 years and I've never sold explicit photos to anyone. What is the typical lifestyle he is describing here? Comment 4. My perspective is date someone your own age. Acting this way is embarrassing for anyone, but doing it at 31 is just pathetic. He's hoping you're stupid enough to agree with him, and I'm hoping you're not. Cheers. Story 3. I 29M have something I can't shake that my fiancé 34F has said. Here's a rewritten version of your story. I'm not someone who finds it easy to talk about personal issues, it's just not in my nature. I tend to bottle things up, which I know isn't healthy, but old habits die hard. There's some baggage from my childhood that makes it tough. Early in our relationship, my wife and I had a slight hurdle because she had more sexual experience than me. We worked through it, or at least I thought I had. Recently, she mentioned having conversations with male colleagues at work about threesomes. This isn't the first time she's brought up similar topics with them, and it's becoming more frequent, which is starting to make me feel uneasy. When I asked her what was said this time, she told me about one of the guys saying his wife would be okay with him having a threesome as long as the other woman wasn't thinner than her. This led me to ask if she had ever been involved in one. Her reaction felt a bit suspicious, and she admitted that she hadn't, but she almost did when she was younger with two friends with benefits who knew each other. Honestly, just hearing that makes me feel sick, not in a judgmental way, just because it involves my fiancé in that kind of situation. She then went on to say that she's thought about threesomes before after reading about them in books, specifically a man and two women scenario MFM. However, she immediately dismissed it, saying it would never happen because I'd be too jealous, and she'd feel the same if it were two men and a woman FFM. I'm really struggling with this. How do I even begin to ask her if this is something she actually wants? The thought of her wanting a threesome, especially possibly with a coworker, is something I don't think I could handle. If that turned out to be true, I honestly think it would be the end of our relationship for me. The fear of finding out the truth is really weighing on me. Comment 1. Your fiancé is chatting up two guys at work about an MFM threesome? My guy, that's the first problem. Comment 2. First off, Threesomes can end very badly, especially due to jealousy. Second, you never have a threesome with someone you know, it will end badly. If she's just fantasizing about a threesome, I don't think there's anything bad with that. People have fantasized and often they can't really be controlled. You can only control your actions, and if she's not cheating or pushing you, there's nothing wrong. If she's at all asks for a threesome with a coworker, she doesn't want a threesome. She wants to sleep with that guy. That's how it always ends up, which is why you only have threesomes with strangers or something you both truly trust. That being said, you're both clearly not in the right headspace to try one. You both have jealousy problems, and that will only end the relationship. Speak with her honestly and express your concerns. Don't go through with the threesome. Comment 3. Just talking to male co-workers like that is a major red flag, and I bet it gets filthy. She just left that out to make you feel a bit better. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.